what I do know for sure is that, you know, Charlie was someone who once said, you know, guns save lives, after a school shooting. Charlie was someone who was willing to debate and downplay the death of George Floyd in the hands of Minneapolis police.
I think he called him a scumbag.
Right, have no regard, downplay slavery and what Black people have gone through in this country by saying Juneteenth should never exist. And I think, you know, there are a lot of people who are out there talking about him just wanting to have a civil debate.
Complete rewriting of history.
Yeah, there is nothing more effed up, you know, like than to completely pretend that, you know, his words and actions have not been recorded. and
Before we begin, viewer discretion is advised. This video is for entertainment and commentary only. What unfolded inside Congress stunned everyone. Moments after Ilhan Omar's explosive remarks about Charlie Kirk, the entire chamber erupted. Lawmakers like Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't hold back. They called out Omar's comments and demanded her removal. The room filled with shouting, disbelief, and outrage. When Omar's words were replayed, gasps echoed across the hall. Faces turned tense, tempers rose, and the calm debate turned into chaos. Everyone was waiting to see who would confront her next, and what would happen when they did.
Day 1 of Rule 9, I rise to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows. House Resolution 713, censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota and removing her from the Committee on Education and Workforce and the Committee on the Budget. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a lifelong advocate for freedom of speech, civil political discourse, and the political engagement of youth. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a man of deep faith, a husband, and a father to 2 young children. Whereas on September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the campus of Utah Valley University while exercising his First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Whereas on September 11, 2025, one day after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar gave an interview on Zateo's town hall with Mehdi Hassan in which she smeared Charlie Kirk and implied he was to blame for his own murder. Whereas on September 12, 2025, 2 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar reposted a video on X, formerly known as Twitter, which disparaged the character of Charlie Kirk and those mourning his death. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X states Charlie Kirk is dead, and before the body got cold, the far-right challenge
came fast. Nancy Mace rose to her feet, her tone sharp, her presence commanding. She accused Ilhan Omar of showing open disrespect toward Charlie Kirk, a man followed by millions and a major voice in America's political debates. Mace's words hit like thunder in the chamber. She warned that remarks like Omar's don't just offend. They divide the nation even more. Her speech cut through the chaos. Every eye locked on her as she made it clear she wasn't backing down from this fight.
Next further states, don't be fooled. These people don't give a single shit about Charlie Kirk. They are just using his death to further their Christo-fascist agenda. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a reprehensible human being. He enacted his political agenda by preying on weak-minded people. He took complex socioeconomic issues and simplified them by pointing fingers at outgroups, demonizing those groups, and sicking his massive following on them. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a stochastic terrorist, an adamant transphobe. He denied the genocide happening in Palestine. He believed the subjugation of women, and in his last dying words, he was spewing racist dog whistles. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein, and his monster shot him through the neck. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further blames Charlie Kirk for his own murder. Whereas Clause 1 of Rule 13 of the Rules of the House of Representatives provides a member, delegate, resident commissioner, officer, or employee of the House shall behave at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibility on the House. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar's actions in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
As Nancy Mace's fiery words echoed through the chamber, the crowd erupted. Some lawmakers clapped in approval, others shouted in defiance. The room was split in two. The tension was electric. Cameras zoomed in on Ilhan Omar, her face tense as she tried to maintain composure while criticism poured in from every corner. The divide was undeniable. One side demanded her censure, even removal, while her supporters insisted she was being targeted for pure political gain. The clash was no longer just words, it was personal, and it was explosive.
Of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee on Education and Workforce and removed from the Committee on the Budget of the House.
Georgia seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A.1 of Rule 9, I seek recognition to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows.
Recognized.
Censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Whereas elected members of Congress take an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar took an oath of allegiance to the United States upon becoming a citizen, declaring, I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. Whereas on January 27, 2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis.
Then came the powerhouse voice of Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG. Known for her no-nonsense attitude, she wasted no time. With fierce conviction, she accused Ilhan Omar of disrespecting the very values Congress was meant to defend. Her voice thundered through the chamber, warning that attacking someone like Charlie Kirk wasn't just reckless, it was dangerous. The impact was instant. Cheers and boos clashed in a wave of chaos. MTG reminded everyone of Omar's past controversies, calling it a pattern that demanded serious consequences. Supporters roared. Opponents shouted her down. The room was a storm. Cameras caught Omar trying to respond, her words swallowed by the noise. "Remove her," echoed from across the chamber as frustration spread on her face. The uproar grew so intense that security had to step in. By then, it was clear. Nothing Omar said could calm the fire now burning through Congress.
Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions. Whereas Representative Omar assured the Somalians she spoke to, the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia. Whereas Representative Omar continued, for as long as I am in U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interest of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. Whereas George Washington warned in his farewell address of 1796 to guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism, and further declared citizens by birth or choice of a common country, That country has a right to concentrate your affections. The name of American, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism more than...
Nancy Mace wasn't done. She doubled down with precision and power. She reminded everyone that true leaders must speak with respect, especially when addressing voices like Charlie Kirk, who represent a massive movement across America. Her tone was calm but firm, cutting through the noise. Words have consequences, she warned, and in politics, those consequences can shake an entire nation. It was more than a rebuke of Ilhan Omar. It was a statement about integrity, a reminder that disrespect doesn't just hurt reputations. It weakens trust in Congress itself.
Clearly violate the oath she took as an elected member of Congress to defend and protect the United States Constitution, whereas Representative Omar has exhibited the treasonous tendencies George Washington warned about, and her actions must be condemned by all members of Congress who adhere to the oath they took upon assuming office. And whereas by openly admitting her efforts to advance Somalia's interest using her position as a United States representative, Representative Omar has revealed herself to be a foreign agent acting on behalf of a foreign government. Now, therefore be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee of the Budget and the Committee on Education and the
Congress
Workforce.
descended into chaos after Ilhan Omar tried to explain her remarks about Charlie Kirk. She claimed her words were taken out of context, but the room wasn't buying it. Lawmakers laughed, shook their heads, and the tension exploded. Nancy Mace reminded everyone of Omar's past controversies, calling it a pattern, while Marjorie Taylor Greene demanded she step down. The chamber erupted as Omar sat visibly shaken. What began as a simple explanation turned into a political earthquake, one that left Omar cornered, Congress divided, and the entire nation watching.